Hi, welcome to the Beliefs Bazaar. My name's Alex. In this video, I just wanted to propose a few questions to flat earthers or anyone really that's questioning whether or not they're correct or think that other people are very wrong about the way that they view the world or reality. And I guess for this example, I guess I would just ask everyone to consider the fact that you think a lot of other people are fooled or wrong about a lot of things. I would hope that everyone would acknowledge that, despite what some people say, everyone who disagrees with you, no matter what your take or political ideology or anything else, there's only a few people that say that everyone else is lying and they know that they're wrong and they're lying anyway. I don't think most people believe that. I think at least, even if you're a flat earther or someone else like a creationist or something like that, you'll at least concede that the people that disagree with you believe what they're saying. Like they believe that there is no, that we live on a globe and the other things. And you could also probably concede that they reached that conclusion by being presented with information that they then came to the conclusion that the earth is a globe, the same way that you guys did with the earth being flat. So if we're on the same page there, at least, that everybody who believes what they believe is telling the truth about them believing it, then you must concede that there is the possibility that a whole group of humans is completely wrong, completely in error about what they think about the world. And just knowing, no matter what your ideology is or your belief system, just knowing that there's all these other belief systems out there, you have to come to the conclusion that some people are at least wrong. Okay, so I guess the point of this video that I'd like to make is that if you concede that there's a whole bunch of people that could be wrong when presented with data that seems to lead to the conclusion that they make, how do you know that you are not part of a group that is wrong or has been presented with false information that you have come to believe is true, or anything that you believe? How do you know any of it is true? You can just say that the people that think differently than you are idiots, but that's not a good argument. That's just kind of an ad hominem thing that doesn't really explain anything. You're just criticizing the people that believe a thing without contradicting anything that they believe. So I guess I challenge anyone that believes in the flat earth or any other conspiratorial perspective is just consider for a moment that you might actually be the group that is being deceived. Because otherwise, how do you know that the other group is being deceived? You just don't like or don't understand the thing that they're talking about? Is that what it is? I watched a lot of, or I've been watching and will probably continue to watch a lot of flat earth content recently. And, coming from my perspective, the arguments are just kind of pathetic cries for, I don't even know. It's just weak arguments. They don't have, the whole, and I guess I'm saying to you, the flat earther, if there's a flat earther watching this, what are your I mean, I know that you have some things that you look at and you physically can't see any curvature of the earth or whatever, but those are just kind of smaller things that, our whole civilization operates with the knowledge of gravity and these other things. And there's math that describes these things, whether or not you are able to do the equations yourself. We have orbital mechanics and things that provide consistent, predictable results. What is so wrong? What is so difficult for anyone to understand that? I don't really understand why people reject that so thoroughly, except for maybe just so they don't want to feel stupid. Because if you go from a place of being like, well, I can't do any of these math or physics equations, so how am I to know that they're accurate or whatever? It's one thing to just sit there and be like, you know what, I actually don't understand this enough to make a thorough conclusion about whether the math works, or that these observations that I didn't personally make are accurate, or these pictures that I've seen are true. But is that coming from a place of genuine inquiry, or do you just not want to feel like a fucking idiot? Because I feel like it's mostly the latter. Because if that wasn't true, you might just say, okay, well, you know what? I don't know enough about this thing and I need to learn about it, or at least try to understand it sufficiently so that I can wrap my head around what is being said. Because this isn't just something that people made up, like drawn from a 2,000-year-old book that says the earth is a shape. No, we use that. It's everyday observations, and it is, our technology is reliant upon it. The communications that we have, the fact that you're watching this video, the technology that was required to create computers and all these other things require our knowledge of the specifics of gravity and other natural aspects of our planet. So to come on and just get on the internet and just say that this is all bullshit because you fail to understand some very basic ideas is, at the least irresponsible, and at the most a plague on our society. And ultimately, I think the entire flat earth movement and the conspiratorial mindset, or the conspiracy theory kind of culture, is propagated just to neutralize people politically. Because if you won't concede, or if you disagree about literally the nature of reality, you're not likely to believe or listen to people that disagree with you, because you might be like, well, if they don't even understand the shape of our planet or the nature of reality, why would I listen to them about the economy or social justice or anything like that? So I really think that this is just a weapon, a tool that has been weaponized. That is the belief, the ability for humans to believe a thing that isn't true based on emotional, based on our feelings and our emotional response to things. That is what people use to manipulate you and convince you to do one thing or the other. And they don't even have to convince you to do one thing or another if they can sufficiently discredit the people that might disagree with you, or if you can be convinced to disagree with the people that would ultimately have your best interests at heart. That's kind of where I don't really have much else to say on this. Just how do you know that what you say is true and that everyone else is wrong, besides just you feel kind of icky about it, or you feel embarrassed that you're so potentially dumb or something, It's okay to be, it's okay to not get things. Knowledge is acquired. We're not immediately intelligent when we're born. We have to learn information and stuff. And, the flat earthers out there they've drawn a line in the sand and said, I'm unwilling to acknowledge or entertain these things that don't make enough sense to me. And whether or not that position is valid or not, that's not really what I care about, because people can believe whatever. It's when those beliefs then cause you to act a certain way in society, or to align with people in society that are actually trying to dismantle it or destroy it. So, if I had one message of this video, it is, just because you can't understand something or won't take the time to understand something, it does not make it a conspiracy. And that is my underlying sentiments towards flat earth and any other conspiratorial thoughts, is just that, your inability to understand it does not mean that something is not real or true. So hopefully that was useful to anybody. Thank you for watching.